I went to this girl's party the week after she beat the shit out of my friend. While everyone was getting trashed, I went around putting tuna inside all the curtain rods, and so like weeks went by and they couldn't figure out why the house smelled like festering death. They caught me through this video where these guys at the party were singing Beyonce while I was in the background with a can of tuna.
I want to watch that video. Putting tuna in somebody's curtain rods, that's so intelligent. Well, that's a lesson for girls as well. Do not mess with our friends.
Now that's what I call stupid. In my junior year of high school, this guy asked me on a date. He rented a Redbox movie and made a pizza. We were watching the movie and the oven beeped, so the pizza was done. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "This is the worst part." I then watched this boy open the oven and pull the pizza out with his bare hands, rack and all, screaming at the top of his lungs. We never had a second
Why would
date.
you do that? Learn to pull out the pizza or you will lose the girl.
A long time ago his department was looking to hire a new junior assistant professor. They had narrowed it down to two highly qualified guys, both fresh out of grad school. They knew they were going to hire one or the other. As a final step of the process, they decided to take both of them out to dinner separately. The first guy is cordial throughout the whole thing, seems to get along with everybody just fine. Then, at the end of the meal, he picks up his empty plate and licks the whole thing clean. Like, tongue flat against the surface of the plate, covering every inch of it until it's clean. In the middle of a nice restaurant. Then he sets the plate down like it was the most normal thing in the world. Everyone just stares at him, and then awkwardly try to just wrap things up. Afterward, they laugh about it to each other. What a bizarre and unnecessary way to throw away a near clinch on a good job opportunity. So they take the second guy out, almost just a formality at this point. Again, everything is fine, he's polite, seems perfectly qualified, seems to know the right things to say. Then, at the very end of the meal, they ask him if he had any questions for them. He pauses and thinks for a moment, then asks, "So what is the student-teacher dating policy?" Afterward, the other professors are sitting around together when one of them says, "Well, looks like we're hiring the plate licker."
We're hiring the plate licker. That's his name now, plate licker.
Two men crash into each other at an intersection. First man steps out of his wrecked car screaming, "You son of a bitch, you wrecked my Jag. I'm a lawyer, I'm going to sue you for everything you have." Other man responds, "You lawyers only care about money, you don't even realize you just lost an arm." The lawyer looks down where his arm should be and yells, "Where's my fucking Rolex?"
Someone has made it up. This cannot be real. I think I've heard it before.
I had a friend whose roommate had a large German Shepherd dog. One day when she came home from work, she found him playing with the next door neighbor's kid's pet bunny, dead. She panicked and gave the bunny a bath, blow-dried it, and placed it back in its cage, afraid to tell the neighbors that her dog killed it. A couple of hours later, they heard the neighbor's kid screaming hysterically. It turns out the bunny had died and they had buried it, and her dog had dug it up to play with it.
Well, that's another scary story for you. We buried the bunny and next day he was blow-dried in his cage.
One night some friends and I are just hanging out and we decide to play hide and seek. One of the guys in my group of friends is easily pranked and always ends up being messed by everyone else. Anyways, he decides that he's going to hide in the trunk of his car in hide and seek. The friend who was seeking, knocks on the car, not actually expecting anyone to be in it, but of course this guy is. He asks us to let him out, so we, while laughing uncontrollably, decide to mess with him. So we have one friend pretending that the trunk release won't work when he realizes that it actually isn't working. The funniest moment had to be when our friend in the trunk realized that trunk release won't work because he had previously locked it. His reaction was something along the lines of, "Oh my god, I'm going to be in here forever." We had our fun messing with him for a little while longer until he was able to pass his keys through a crack in the back seats. He was slightly embarrassed but recovered quickly and even shared in the laughter a little bit.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be in here forever.
How many feminists does it take to change a light bulb? Don't be stupid, feminists can't change anything. A ship was traveling in a dangerous part of the sea. The captain saw a pirate ship approaching their vessel. The captain yells to his crew, "Bring me my red shirt." The crew brings him his red shirt, he puts it on, and leads the men in battle. They lose one man, but on the whole it was a great victory. Everyone wonders what the deal is with the red shirt, but they just shrug it off. A few days later, the captain sees two pirate ships in the distance. He again yells, "Bring me my red shirt." The crew does so, and they fight off the pirates. They lose a few more men this time, but at least most of them are unscratched. However, this time curiosity got the best of them, and they ask the captain why he's asked for his red shirt during the battles. He answers, "Well, crew, I know all of you look to me for support and morale. I knew there would be a good chance of me getting injured and I didn't want you to see me all bloody and fear that all is lost. Therefore I put on a red shirt in order that my injuries will blend in with the shirt."
So brave.
A few weeks later, the ship is traveling and in the distance, there are 10 pirate ships. The captain spots this and yells, "Bring me my brown pants." We took my 4-year-old son to Legoland in California. We were waiting in line for a mechanical pony ride that he was very excited for and could do by himself. The attendant was asking every child their age before they got on the ride. We hadn't thought to talk to him about why. When he got to the front of the line, the attendant asked him his age. He hesitated and looked at us. We reassured him. Then, as cool and confident as could be, he said 18. Everyone within earshot was rolling. Apparently he was worried that he wasn't old enough.
So smart. He's gonna be the next Einstein.
My brother had lost a baby tooth. He was lying on the couch watching TV, playing with the tooth in his fingers above his head. He dropped the tooth and it fell directly into his ear canal.
Whoa.
After trying to get it out himself with his fingers, he only pushed it deeper in. My father took him to the hospital to get it extracted. The doctor said he had never seen a case of a tooth lodged into an ear canal. My grandpa said, "Your generation relies too much on technology." I replied, "No, your generation relies too much on technology." Then I unplugged his life support. We don't have a fucking doorbell, so a couple years I moved out of state with a boyfriend. Was super excited about it, but with reason had anxiety about being so far from friends and family. One of the ways my anxiety was coming out was with nightmares and night terrors. I'd wake up violently, sitting up in a cold sweat, gasping and whatnot. On one particular night I had woken up the sound of our doorbell ringing, which at 4 in the morning is fucking nerve-wracking. So I shook my boyfriend fully awake and told him I heard the doorbell and to go check it because I was scared. He quickly jumps up, puts on clothes and grabs a bat, goes all the way to the front door and opens it. I, scared shitless, am peeking around the corner watching it all go down. I see him step outside and I nervously await the verdict of the situation when I hear him call out to me, "Babe." And I respond real shaky, "Yes." He stands in the doorway with a real frustrated, tired look in his eyes and says, "We don't have a fucking doorbell."
You didn't realize this in the beginning.
I took care of an 11-year-old boy in the ER a little while back. I gave him ketamine for a fracture reduction, or in other words setting and splinting of a broken bone. As he was coming around he started with typical stream of consciousness babbling, and then he seemed to snap awake to say, "I'm fucking lying, I'm gonna do so many drugs when I get older," to the amusement of his parents. They thought it was funny and cute, but I'm pretty sure I created a monster. A man walks into a bar with a gun and yells, "Who slept with my wife? I'm gonna kill him." A man calmly stands up and says, You ain't got enough bullets, mate. Lady walks onto the bus with her baby. The bus driver says, "Ew. That's the ugliest baby I've ever seen." Lady starts to cry and
Wow.
heads to the back. The man sitting near her asks what's wrong. Lady says, "The bus driver just insulted me." Man says, "What? You go up there and tell him off. Here, I'll hold your monkey." To all the teachers who said I would be nothing but a fast food worker and an alcoholic. Fuck you, that just was a lucky guess. It was 3 a.m. and I'd been on duty in the emergency since 8 a.m. I was exhausted. A well-dressed man came in with his 8-year-old, healthy-looking, son. I asked him what was the problem. He said, "Well, I was at a wedding and it occurred to me that my son is a little short. Can you give him something right now to make him taller?"
He is probably drunk.